don't just tell black secrets. I tell white secrets too, because we all family. They don't lie to some of us, they lie to all of us.
Big deviance is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies. To have a conversation that's not being had, and I'm really sorry that these conversations are being had by a comedian. I wish too that it was a religious leader of some kind having this conversation, or somebody's politician talking about this stuff.
Katt Williams has never been the type to bite his tongue, and that's exactly why Hollywood can't stand him. From tearing up comedy stages in the early 2000s to dropping viral bombshells in interviews years later, he's built more than just a name. He's built a legacy of fearlessness. Katt isn't just known for his sharp punchlines or flashy suits. He's known as the comedian who tells the truth when everyone else stays quiet. His run-ins with big names like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Kevin Hart didn't just stir gossip. They shook the entire entertainment world. His refusal to play by the industry's secret rules made him both celebrated and targeted at the same time. But how did all this chaos even start? When Katt first stepped into the spotlight, fans couldn't get enough of his quick wit, flashy style, and the way he could turn real-life pain into pure comedy gold. But beneath the jokes, he was carving a lane no one else dared to touch. While most comedians were chasing studio deals and movie roles, Katt was out here calling out Hollywood's darker truths. By the mid-2000s, his name wasn't just tied to laughs, it was tied to truth bombs. Katt began speaking out on what he saw as the exploitation of black talent, claiming Hollywood rewards the ones who play along and punishes the ones who don't. He even hinted that behind the lights and cameras were secret power circles, gatekeepers and hidden deals deciding who shines and who gets shut out. When Katt hit that stage or sat down for an interview, his words didn't just make people laugh, they hit deep with raw, unfiltered conviction. He wasn't cracking jokes for fun when he called out corruption, he was dropping warnings about how the game was really being played behind the scenes. Yeah, some folks in the crowd laughed it off, but others caught the message loud and clear. He was exposing the system while still holding the mic. What made it even wilder was how the media flipped the narrative.
He said, I'm not doing this. You are not going to get a black man, a real black man, to agree to do this to another black man.
He tried to put me in my first dress. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's house too. I almost died. All I did was say, I want to punch it up so it's not offensive to real.
Instead of responding to his claims, they went straight for his image, painting him as unstable, arrogant, or just plain crazy. Big shows even started mocking him, like when Saturday Night Live did over-the-top parodies, clowning his style and voice. But to Katt, that wasn't harmless fun. He saw it as character assassination. In his eyes, it was all part of a plan to discredit him before people started taking his words too seriously. Then things really turned up when he started clashing with other big names. Katt accused Steve Harvey of stealing jokes from comedian Mark Curry, and that sent shockwaves through comedy circles. He claimed Steve cared more about guarding his media empire than protecting real comedy and originality. Katt didn't care if it made people uncomfortable. He was calling it how he saw it. That's what made him so unpredictable yet powerful. While critics labeled him confrontational, his fans saw him as fearless, a man standing on truth even when it cost him everything. By the late 2000s, Katt Williams wasn't just a comedian anymore, no, he was a movement. And to his supporters, he became part entertainer, part truth teller, and part rebel with a purpose. Hollywood might have handed him a spotlight, but he flipped it right back on them, exposing the shady corners and power games that everyone else was too scared to mention. And little did the world know, that was just the start of a storm that was about to shake the entire industry. Katt Williams' whistleblower image skyrocketed once he started going after some of the biggest power players in the game. These weren't small-time arguments. These were full-blown headline-making wars with icons like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Kevin Hart. Each beef peeled back another layer of how Katt saw Hollywood, a world built to protect a chosen few while shutting out the rest. The drama with Oprah left fans speechless. Katt straight up accused her of trying to blacklist rapper 50 Cent, claiming she used her massive platform to silence anyone she didn't approve of. According to Katt, Oprah's reach didn't stop at talk shows and book clubs. He believed she was pulling strings behind closed doors, deciding which artists could rise and which ones would fade into the shadows. Some fans online even started echoing his theory, saying Oprah was part of a bigger machine that kept rebellious voices out of the spotlight. His accusations had everyone asking, was Katt exposing the truth or just lighting more fires for the chaos? Then came his battle with Tyler Perry. And Katt did not hold back one bit. He called out Perry's casting choices and business practices, saying his entire movie empire was built on favoritism and secret deals that pushed out deserving talent. Katt even went so far as to claim that Perry's success came at the expense of other black actors who refused to play the Hollywood game.
Funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up? Oh, he's right there.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again?
During a sit-down alongside Terrence Howard, Katt went off and accusing Perry of being insecure and purposely holding others back to keep his throne. Fans fired up the debate, saying Perry had created countless opportunities for black actors, but Katt didn't budge. He believed the price of that success was the soul of the industry itself. And then there was Kevin Hart, the feud that just wouldn't die down. Katt claimed Kevin was taking movie roles that were supposed to be his, calling him Hollywood's safe pick for comedy. According to Katt, Kevin wasn't just a comedian. He was the industry's hand-picked face for a watered-down version of black humor. It was personal, it was bold, and it made sure everyone in Hollywood knew Katt Williams wasn't scared of anyone. Katt Williams didn't just question Kevin Hart's success, he straight up called it manufactured. He said Kevin's rise wasn't built on grind or authenticity, but on Hollywood's blueprint for who they wanted to win. According to Katt, every time Hart got another blockbuster or endorsement, a more real voice got pushed to the side. When Kevin finally responded, he kept it cool and casual, brushing off Katt's comments like they were just for show. He told reporters that he was proud of his journey and had no reason to feed into the drama. To Hart, it was all noise. But to Katt, that calm response was the perfect example of what he'd been saying all along, that Hollywood rewards those who play by its rules and punishes the ones who expose its truth.
It was a trip, Halloween. We couldn't afford no Halloween costumes. Hey, kids, please. Mama sent us down to the liquor store and put boxes on us.
Every Halloween, I had the same outfit on. Every year. I just had a brown box.
Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah.
Each one of these feuds, Oprah, Perry, Hart, carried the same message: Katt versus the machine. He saw himself as the last man standing against a system built to silence voices like his. And the more he talked, the more Hollywood started to sweat, wondering what bombshell he'd drop next. If there was ever proof that Katt didn't back down from confrontation, it came with his heated beef with Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer. These weren't just any comedians, they were icons, the faces of the original kings of comedy, loved by millions for their movies, talk shows, and charm. But Katt wasn't buying the act. In his eyes, they represented everything fake about the industry: recycled material, exaggerated backstories, and carefully crafted images meant to sell, not inspire. Katt went public accusing Steve Harvey of stealing jokes, and not just from him, but from comedian Mark Curry too. He even claimed Steve fabricated stories about his rough upbringing to sound more heroic than he really was. Katt saw that as pure fraud. Hollywood storytelling used to build false legends while real creators got ignored. Fans online split into camps. Some defended Steve, while others echoed Katt's claims, saying his words actually made sense. One viral thread even broke down old routines, comparing punchlines and timing to back Katt's accusations. But things got messy when Katt revealed that both Steve and Cedric had privately apologized years earlier for stealing his material, but never admitted it publicly. That made everything worse because Cedric denied it completely, saying Katt was just clout chasing. Katt fired right back, accusing Cedric of stealing one of his best jokes, a bit that ended up in the 2000 film The Original Kings of Comedy. Cedric brushed it off like it was nothing, saying if Katt had a problem, he should have spoken up sooner. But Katt wasn't letting it go. To him, it wasn't about timing, it was about integrity. And once again, he made sure the world knew he wasn't afraid to name names and call out anyone who built their fame on someone else's work. To Cedric, the whole thing was old news, something not even worth rehashing. But his denial only poured gasoline on the fire, pushing Katt Williams to dig in even deeper. Every new interview, every clip, Katt made sure his message stayed loud and clear. This wasn't just about one joke, it was about respect. Katt kept saying it wasn't about petty drama, it was about integrity and comedy and honesty among peers. To him, Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer weren't just two guys who might have borrowed a punchline. They symbolized a bigger problem in Hollywood, where polished, safe faces get rewarded while raw, authentic voices get pushed aside.
Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women, and I believe that the best actor should be in the best role.
Steve Harvey stayed silent through it all. No statements, no interviews, nothing. Some people said he was being mature, refusing to feed into Katt's energy, but others thought that silence said everything, like maybe he didn't want to stir a pot that could mess up his carefully managed image and big-time TV brand. Meanwhile, the feud between Katt, Steve, and Cedric exploded across comedy circles. It wasn't just about stolen jokes anymore, and it became a battle over credibility, power, and legacy. Katt wasn't scared to take on comedy royalty, even if it meant getting blacklisted. He painted himself as the truth teller, the lone wolf standing outside the system, refusing to play by their rules. By the time the smoke cleared, Katt's reputation as Hollywood's loudest whistleblower had gone through the roof. Whether people believed every word or not, everyone knew one thing. He was fearless, unpredictable, and way too honest for comfort. To the Hollywood elite, that made him dangerous. But then came the next chapter, meh, and this one linked him with another legendary rebel, Dave Chappelle. The two were seen as kindred spirits, outsiders who wouldn't bend to Hollywood's control. But their connection was complicated. Sometimes Katt praised Chappelle like a hero, calling him one of the few who truly stood up for integrity. Other times, he hinted that maybe Dave's decision to walk away from that famous $50 million Comedy Central deal in 2005 wasn't as picture-perfect as fans believed. Fast forward to 2024, Katt sat down with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay and finally gave Chappelle his flowers. "I respect him for walking away from the money," Katt said. He explained that the pressure of the entertainment industry could break even the strongest people, and that walking away took real courage. It was one of those rare moments where Katt showed admiration instead of smoke. And for once, it felt like he was saluting another soldier who understood just how dark the game could get. To Katt Williams, Dave Chappelle's decision to never sell out was a real show of strength. He saw it as a bold stand, a moment where a man refused to trade his freedom for a check.
Nobody knows why liars lie. And that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't lie. No, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin.
Fans took it as a rare sign of peace between two outspoken legends, with Katt finally giving props to another comedian who'd also fought against Hollywood's dirty system. But just when people thought Katt was done, he flipped the narrative again. In later interviews, he hinted that maybe Chappelle's famous walkaway wasn't completely voluntary. He suggested there might have been pressure from above, powerful Hollywood insiders who didn't like how outspoken Chappelle had become. Katt threw out the big question everyone was scared to ask. Did Chappelle really leave for integrity, or was he pushed out for refusing to play the game? That theory lit social media on fire. Some fans backed Katt, saying his claims lined up with what they'd always suspected, that Hollywood forces out the ones who won't conform. Others defended Chappelle, insisting his move was pure rebellion and proof he couldn't be controlled. The debate raged for weeks, with clips and think pieces flying all over the internet. Then, in 2024, Chappelle clapped back, calmly but firmly, during a surprise set at the Hollywood Improv. Without even saying Katt's name, he sent a message that everyone understood.
So many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up? Oh, he's right there.
Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us.
He only targeted us, Chappelle said. He didn't say anything about any of these white boys. The crowd went silent, then gasped. His meaning was clear. Chappelle felt Katt was wasting his energy taking shots at fellow black comedians instead of addressing the bigger system pulling the strings. "We're comedians. We don't attack each other," Chappelle added, calling for unity instead of rivalry. The exchange revealed how layered their relationship really was. Both men despised Hollywood's corruption and double standards, but they didn't see eye to eye on how to fight it. Katt believed in naming names, dragging the people responsible one by one. Chappelle thought the real battle was against the system itself, the money, the media, and the manipulation behind it all. Still, even in disagreement, their message echoed the same warning: Hollywood is not what it seems. Chappelle's 2021 Netflix special The Closer stirred massive debates about censorship, comedy, and freedom of speech. Around that same time, Katt's Heaven on Earth tour had him exposing exploitation and dishonesty across the entertainment world. Whether united or clashing, both men were shaking the table, forcing the public to question everything they thought they knew about fame, freedom, and the price of success. In a lot of ways, Katt Williams and Dave Chappelle were like two sides of the same coin. One loud, raw, and direct, the other calm but cutting with precision. Whether they were standing together or clashing in public, their combined voices hit Hollywood so hard it couldn't pretend not to hear them anymore. They were both truth-tellers, just with different delivery styles. But Katt's whistleblower energy wasn't just about calling out big names. It was about protecting his craft and refusing to let Hollywood disrespect his art. One of the best examples came in 2002 during the filming of Friday After Next, the third movie in the legendary Friday series. Katt stepped into the role of Money Mike, a flashy, fast-talking pimp with unforgettable swagger. But behind those hilarious scenes, he was fighting a serious battle that most fans never even knew about. According to Katt, the original script included a disturbing moment where his character was supposed to be sexually assaulted for laughs. He immediately shut that down. Katt said the scene wasn't just inappropriate, it was flat out wrong. He argued that crossing that kind of line wasn't comedy, it was exploitation disguised as humor.
In our industry, who pays you is who tells you what narrative you're allowed to use. And I'm not paid, so I own my narrative. That is what makes my opinion valuable at all. The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay.
Katt refused to play along, saying the joke wasn't funny and didn't belong in the movie at all. Because of his pushback, the scene was scrapped from the final cut. Years later, fans who found out about it praised him for standing firm, even when he was still a rising actor without real Hollywood power. It proved that Katt wasn't just talking about integrity, he lived it. He showed that he cared more about ethics than shock value, more about art than paychecks. For a lot of people, that story became solid proof that Katt was the real deal, someone willing to risk his spot in the game to protect his morals. While most newcomers would have stayed quiet, he stood tall and made the studio listen. That same spirit carried over into how he spoke about cancel culture too. Katt made it clear in interviews that he didn't fully buy into the way cancel culture worked. He said the system usually went after the easy targets, the entertainers already on the edge, while the real power players behind the scenes stayed untouchable. In his eyes, cancel culture was just another distraction from the real problem, the people in control never being held accountable. He believed that comedians and artists shouldn't have to censor truth just to stay safe from backlash. To Katt, comedy wasn't supposed to be comfortable. It was supposed to be real. He wasn't afraid to offend because in his mind, honesty had no safety net. And that theme of integrity showed up again when he hit the road for his Heaven on Earth comedy tour. He wasn't just telling jokes, he was turning his stage into a truth-telling arena. Each show mixed his classic humor with raw commentary about the industry's hypocrisy, greed, and fake morality. Katt made people laugh, think, and question everything all at once, proving once again that he wasn't just another comedian chasing laughs. He was using his voice to spark a revolution in real time. Katt Williams never held back when it came to exposing how Hollywood really worked. He openly talked about the way the industry chewed up talent, the lies spun by the media, and the constant battle to stay real in a world obsessed with fake perfection. Through every scandal and every headline, he made one thing clear: Hollywood would never control his morals. Whether it was standing firm on removing that disturbing scene from Friday After Next or refusing to cave during public controversies, Katt drew a hard line that most comedians were too scared to cross. In an industry built on compromise, he showed he'd rather risk it all than water down his truth. By the time the 2020s hit, Katt's name carried weight like no other comedian. He wasn't just a performer. He was a truth-teller with a mic. And according to fans, that truth-telling was exactly why so many powerful figures in Hollywood seemed shook. Katt had created enemies at every level of the game, and his unpredictability made him even more dangerous to those guarding their image. Take Kevin Hart, for example. Their long-running feud had already become legend, but when comedy icon Eddie Murphy stepped in and commented that Kevin had reasons to be cautious around Katt, fans lost it. They saw that as a clear sign that even Hollywood's elite knew Williams wasn't the one to play with. Kevin's polished, family-friendly brand clashed hard with Katt's raw, street-smart authenticity, and every time Katt spoke his name, it sent waves through the industry. Even Ice Cube, as a legend in both music and film, once hinted at how figures like Oprah Winfrey seemed to step lightly around Katt. Soon after, clips began circulating online suggesting that Oprah herself avoided directly engaging with his accusations. To Katt's supporters, that wasn't a coincidence. It was proof that even the most powerful names didn't want to test him. And it didn't stop there. Internet debates went wild, with fans speculating that other stars, like Marlon Wayans and Taraji P. Henson, were keeping their distance too. Theories flooded social media, with people saying they were scared of what Katt might reveal if pushed too far. One viral post summed it up perfectly: Hollywood's biggest names don't want smoke with Katt, and for good reason.
Just wanted to address a few things. Everybody been checking out the internet, my man Katt Williams. First of all, I just want to.
It's really not hard if you have real problems with people and your problems are like serious. It's not hard to ever get to a person and really like address the problem correctly. The problems that people have with me, they aren't my problem.
And honestly, who could argue? Katt had already shown he had no problem calling out anyone, no matter how famous, rich, or protected they were. But while fans cheered his boldness, life had its darker moments too. Behind the laughter and headlines, tragedy struck his world in August 2025 when news broke that comedian Reggie Carroll, one of the performers who had toured with Katt on his Heaven on Earth comedy run, had passed away unexpectedly. The loss hit Katt hard, casting a shadow over his journey just as his voice was reaching new heights. Still, even through heartbreak, Katt's message stayed the same: truth over everything. He kept proving that he wasn't afraid of the industry, the critics, or even fate itself. Because when it came to speaking up, Katt Williams made sure nobody in Hollywood could sleep easy when his name came up. The tragedy struck deep. Reggie Carroll was fatally shot, and the reports quickly named the suspect as Trell Marquise Williams, a security guard who had been working for Katt at the time. The shocking news rocked the comedy world and threw a dark cloud over Katt's Heaven on Earth tour. Overnight, the spotlight that once followed his jokes turned into a storm of headlines and speculation. Fans were divided. Some said it showed how dangerous things had become for anyone close to Katt, while others noticed how the media once again twisted the story, focusing more on drama than compassion. Even in a moment of grief, the coverage was all about controversy, not the loss of life. But Katt didn't crumble. Instead, he turned the pain into fuel. He started calling 2024 the Age of Truth, a time when he said people needed to wake up and see what Hollywood was really hiding. He urged his fans to stop being blinded by red carpets and flashing lights, to question who was really pulling the strings behind the scenes. Katt made it clear he wasn't backing down, no matter what came his way. To his supporters, that moment cemented his legacy, not just as a comedian, but as a whistleblower with purpose. Someone unafraid to expose the corruption, hypocrisy, and mind games baked into the entertainment business. Now, Katt Williams stands as one of the most polarizing figures in comedy, adored by fans for his fearless honesty and despised by certain celebrities who wish he'd just stay quiet. Whether you see him as fearless or reckless, one thing's for sure: when Katt Williams speaks, Hollywood listens. His voice carries weight, his truth cuts deep, and his presence alone keeps the entire industry on edge. Because when Katt calls your name, the whole world tunes in. So before you dip, make sure you smash that like button if you're riding with us, tap subscribe if you're a real one, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single messy update. Trust me, you're gonna want to be here for the next video.